Does the sunlight hurt your skin? Can't see your reflection in the mirror? And or have an eternal thirst for blood? If you answered yes to any of these questions, it may be time to build an underground base. This one features an all-new layout with my patent-pending modular base sections, an upgraded secret entrance design, and more, so let's get into the tour. Gamers, it's been over 6 months since I've made a tutorial video, so I decided to come back with an all-new upgraded underground base design. So, starting off at the door, we have an updated variation that is absolutely confirmed to work in Bedrock. Yes, I tested it. And so, all you have to do to open and close the door from the outside is just throw any item on top of this block, of course, and it'll activate these pistons here, which will pull back the stone blocks. Now, as for the redstone in here, it is very similar to my previous secret underground bases, but this time it will definitely work for Bedrock using this layout here with the redstone. And yeah, it might look pretty complicated, but it is actually very, very easy to make. Just trust me on that one, okay? And that, of course, leads us into the actual base. So for the layout of this one, we have a pretty much giant back wall here that goes over 2 floors. You can kind of see this as a mini version of my ultimate underground base, where instead of the entire area surrounded by these little modular sections, we instead just have the back wall here. Then off to the left and right side walls, we have these nice feature walls with just a bunch of like random leaves, glowberries, and vines around the place. I honestly couldn't think of what to put in here, so yeah, I just thought that looked kind of cool. And then as for the back walls, we have a sugarcane farm with some nice little intricate designs above that just to take up the empty space. And then off to the left side here, we have a nice little melon and pumpkin farm as well. You may have also noticed that we have 2 big rectangular farms on either side of the base as well. And I should also probably mention that with the door here, if you wanted to get your item back, you can just easily come down to this barrel right here and grab your items. And then you can also close the door behind you using the button right here. Also, I've gotten a lot of comments on like how you exit the base without having to use an item. All you have to do is just stand here, press the button, and sprint out. And that way you don't have to throw an item on here to, you know, just close the base up. Okay, and now just taking a bit of a quicker, more detailed look at some of these sections. Firstly, we have our just giant storage wall. Yes, these top chests do open thanks to some slabs at the top here. To the right of that, we have our inbuilt mine entrance with a little bit of a minecart track here as well. Of course, this doesn't go down very far because I'm lazy, as you guys probably know very well. To the right of that, we have, of course, our ladder that allows us to come up to the 2nd floor. To the right of that, once again, we have our smelting area and also our crafting area. Heading up the ladder, off to the left here, we have our nice enchanting area. This, of course, does reach a full level 30. Let me just showcase that real quick. There we go. And beside that, we also have our brewing area with a little bit of an inbuilt nether wart farm as well, which is pretty cool. And instead of using a cauldron, which I don't really like using because they run out, we instead have an infinite water source here inside of this polished andesite stair block. Then off to the right of the ladder instead, over here, we have our bedroom area with a whole bunch of barrels just so you can store like some random things in, like your enchanted tools that you want to save and keep separate from your main storage down below. And then for the final section over here, we just have a bit of a nice little aquarium with a couple of fish in there. This is obviously, of course, purely decorational, so if you wanted to replace this with something a little bit more functional, feel free to, of course, do so. Same with each of these sections. If you find a section that you like in one of my previous underground base videos, you can just replace like this one with the previous one. I've pretty much made all of them 5 blocks wide, so yeah, you can just easily swap them in and out nice and easily. And yeah, so that pretty much just about does it for the entire tour of this base. A bit of a smaller one, but still very functional and very easy to build as well. And so yeah, now let's just get started with the tutorial. Alright, so first things first, you're of course going to need to find an area similar to this one. Specifically, we need to find an area where the terrain like suddenly increases in height quite a bit, and for quite a bit of a distance as well. Just for a general outline, the distance from the actual entrance to the back of the base is going to be about 21 blocks, and then for the width of the base, it's going to be about 31 blocks. Well, not about, but it's exactly 31 blocks, I'm pretty sure. Now, if you can't find an area like this very easily, then you can, of course, just, you know, go straight down into the ground and just build it completely underground instead of like in a mountain, I guess. However, you'll have to figure out a different sort of entrance if you still want it to be like a secret entrance. So yeah, we're going to be using this area right here for the tutorial. Now, as you can see, the original base's location is looking a little bit different from the area we found. So we need to kind of sculpt the terrain a little bit to hide our piston blocks. And also we need this specific block here so that we can throw our items on top of it and for it to be collected by the hopper. So with an area kind of like this, some easy ways that we could go about doing this is just kind of pulling the landscape back a little bit. And now we could make this block right here, the one that we throw an item on top of. So now let's go in by 1 block and then to the left by 2. So we're going in and then left 2, and then this is going to be our door right here, meaning that we need these blocks here to be covered up. So what we can do to fix that is just, you know, just add some terrain around here. And we can just kind of fix up the surrounding area and smoothen it out a little bit, just so it looks like kind of natural generation. Now, if we put these blocks back and, you know, turn these to dirt, it looks at least kind of normal. I think some ways to make it look a little bit better would be maybe adding a block here and maybe one here as well. And maybe even just raising up this area too. And yeah, I think actually that looks a lot better, not having these 2 blocks here and instead just doing that. That looks a lot more natural to me. And yeah, so there we go. There's our area done and sculpted. So now we can go ahead and actually get started with the entrance design. Okay, so starting off the entrance, we're first going to locate our 2 door blocks here, and we're going to, of course, destroy those. Then we're going to go in by a further 4 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm just going to quickly give myself night vision here so we can all actually see, because I seem to always forget to do that. There we go. Now that we are in 5 blocks in total, at these last 2 blocks here, let's go down by 2, and then hopping down here, we're going to go to the right by another 2, and then let's replace this block here on the ground with a barrel. And we've just done this so that we can easily link up our hopper. So now let's just stand on top of the barrel, face towards the entrance of the base, and let's just dig a little bit of a tunnel all the way out until we reach our block here, which we actually did destroy. And now before we actually replace this block, let's grab our hoppers out and start placing those in, connecting up to the barrel here. So we're just going to, of course, hold shift and place them all the way like so. On top of this last one here, let's place a rail with a minecart with a hopper in that. And then we're once again going to cover that up with our block. And now just to test out and make sure this is working, we can throw an item on top of this block. You should see it should instantly disappear. And then when we come down to our barrel, you should see it is in our barrel. So now that's our like kind of key lock opening system and the return system set up. Nice and simple. Now at this point, we can just quickly replace some of these blocks here with some stone ones just to make it look a little bit nicer. There we go. And now off to the left here from our first entrance block, we're going to destroy these blocks like so. Let's just go maybe 5 blocks in for now. You may have noticed we have, you know, hit the outside here. We'll of course fix this up later. And now to the right of this, let's destroy another couple of blocks like so. Now starting off with our sticky pistons here, we're going to go 2 blocks to the right of our door, so 1, 2, and on this block here, let's place in our 2 sticky pistons, and then in front of those, our stone blocks. Now directly behind the bottommost piston, let's place in a stone block, followed by a piece of redstone dust on top of that. Then in front of our stone block here, we're going to be placing in a redstone comparator facing in towards the stone block here. Now we're going to have to destroy a couple more blocks, and now we're going to be placing in a couple of droppers and a single hopper. Make sure you place these all in the right way, or else it's not going to work properly. So for our first one, let's first stand all the way in the corner here. We're going to hold shift and right click facing the comparator so that it's facing outwards. Then for the next one, we're going to jump and place it so it's facing upwards. And then for the last one, let's place it like so, so that it's facing in towards the pistons. And now for the final block, let's place in a hopper pointing downwards into our first dropper we placed. Now finally, we need to place a block inside of this bottom right dropper here. So it can be whatever you want. I'm just going to use a piece of stone. And then facing into that dropper, let's place in a redstone repeater. And if you're playing on Bedrock and having issues with the door not staying open or like closing randomly, just replace this instead with some redstone dust and it should work. Hopefully. And now to test out the entire system, let's now just add in some redstone dust here, and then we can just chuck a button up here, I guess. And now when we press the button, the door should close. Just give it a second. There we go. The door has closed, and now we can press it again to open the door up. Now, I'll highly recommend placing a repeater here instead of a redstone dust, just because I've found that it works a lot more reliably having that there, which allows the item to cycle through correctly. So yeah, don't skimp out on the repeater, okay? Next, what we need to do is connect up this redstone line over to our hoppers over here. So now let's just remove a little bit of the wall here, just so we can actually access the hoppers. And we're going to be digging a little bit of a tunnel. We can probably just remove this stone block for now. We're going to dig a tunnel all the way over to here, just like that. And now let's connect our redstone up all the way over to our hopper here, except for on the last block, we're of course going to be placing in a redstone comparator. This is Josh from the future. I'm just saying, I forgot to add a repeater here, so make sure you add a repeater right smack bang here, okay? And that way, as our item passes through the hoppers, it'll quickly signal this comparator, which will turn turn on the T flip-flop over here and activate the door, of course. All right, and now we can cover up these couple of blocks here all the way up until our hopper side, and we can actually fill those blocks in as well. We're just going to leave this open for now, though. And now for the final part of the redstone, let's once again drop down here where our barrel is. Instead, this time we're going to go to the left by 2 blocks. And on these 2 blocks right here, let's place in 2 spruce logs like so. And then on top of the top one, let's place in our stone button. Then we're going to head back over this way and then destroy a couple of blocks until we see our spruce block here. Place in a piece of redstone and just, turn the button on, make sure it's connected up properly. Then from here, we're going to place in an additional stone block here, and we're going to bring our redstone dust up. And then we're going to add in some more stone blocks over here like so. On the next block here, let's place in a repeater with a full tick of delay. This is so we have enough time to press the button and run outside of the base, so make sure you add that delay. Also, if you feel like it's a little bit too fast, you can just add in another repeater and add some more ticks to that if you want to. Now what we need to do in order to clear this existing redstone is just dig a little bit more further over this way, and we also need to extend the ceiling up a little bit as well. And now what we're going to do is just place in a couple of blocks like so. Actually, we're going to go all the way out here, and now we're just going to bring this redstone line up here and then back down this way, and then just easily connect it back up to our existing line like so. And yeah, so now that is pretty much it for all of the redstone. We can test it out by just pressing this button here. With a little bit of a delay, you should see that the door should open and close. Once again, if it's a bit too fast, just go ahead and chuck another repeater in here if you want to, and then now we can press it, and as you can see, it'll take a little bit longer to close the door. And now just to triple check everything is working, let's go ahead and test the door. We should see it should close up, and then we can throw another item on, and it should open up. Yes, it does. Now, I just realized that the stone kind of looks a little bit out of place for this area because this is primarily dirt. Now, one thing you can do to fix this is just replace the surrounding area with a little bit more stone like so, or you could have just replaced the door with some dirt. I mean, it's up to you. But yeah, now you see we have this giant gaping hole into our base, so what we need to do is just, of course, quickly fix up the terrain a little bit like so. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for all of the redstone. Now we can just go ahead and close this up and get started with the actual base. Okay, and so the first thing we need to do is, of course, excavate the base. So starting from this point right here, we're going to be digging in by 14 blocks. So let's go 1, 2, 13, and 14. And now coming back to the start here, we now need to push these walls out to the left and the right by 15 blocks. And so we're actually going to be including the blocks that are going to be behind the pillar here, and we're going to be, of course, going this way as well in line with our barrel. And so just to give you guys the example, of course, let's just go, yeah, so we've already dug out 2 blocks here, so we're going to take 2 off 15. So starting from here, we're going to go 13. 13. As you can see, yeah, once again, we've reached the outside, so we need to fix this up a little bit. But yeah, so from this block right here all the way to the end should be 15 blocks in total. And so yeah, we're going to be doing that in pretty much every single row here, and then on the left side as well, of course. And I'm going to do that real quick right now. Okay, and now with all of that area excavated, this is how your base should be looking. And now what it's time to do is the final step of excavation, which is, of course, raising the ceiling up, and we're going to be raising it up by an additional 7 blocks. So just to give you guys an example, we're of course just, going to stand anywhere on the ceiling and go up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we're going to be doing this pretty much everywhere, starting from our main start point here. We've of course already excavated 1 block, so we can just go 6 instead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that should be at the same height as the other one. Yes, it is. And yeah, so now we're just going to go around and pretty much raise the ceiling up by 7 blocks in total. All right, and now with our area excavated, you may have noticed we of course have just some ugly stuff everywhere that we need to take care of. That being, of course, all of the dirt patches, gravel, and all of that stuff, and also all of these like random holes everywhere. So we're just going to go around and patch all of these up, and also replace all of the blocks here with some stone, just so it's nice and uniform. So yeah, let's get that done real quick right now. Okay, and now we are finally done with the excavation and all of the boring stuff. So now the next step is to start adding our pillars everywhere around the base, just to align everything and make it a little bit easier, of course, to just add everything in. So starting off here at our barrel, let's first place in some upside down stairs above the barrel. We can just remove this placeholder block there. And now above these stairs, we're going to just raise the pillar up all the way up to the ceiling. Now I hate flying in my tutorials, so you guys will of course have to use scaffolding, but I'm just flying to make this as quick and easy to showcase as possible. And so yeah, we're going to of course raise this pillar up as well all the way up to the ceiling. And now let's just place the bottom of all of the pillars around the place and make sure that the base actually has the right width and everything. So from this block here, we're going to count a space of 5 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then on the next one, let's place in the base of our pillar here, having a gap of 5 in between. Gamers, it's Disruptive from the future here. just after I realized that I messed up this part, you do not need to add in these pillars here, only the corner ones, okay? So for the front and the sides of the base, you do not need to add in these pillars whatsoever. So we can just take these out. Same for the other side as well. So only leave in the corner ones. But as for the back of the base, as you can see where all of the modules will be, make sure to add in all of the pillars for the actual back area of the base, just not the sides and the front, okay? All good. And now for the next one, we'll leave another gap of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then place another pillar here. Now, if you got the base dimensions right, we should have a gap in between this pillar and the wall here, and that allows us to place our next pillar right there. And now, once again, we're going to leave another gap of 5, and then once again, of course, another gap of 5, and we should once again have another 1 block gap in between the wall here and the pillar. And now, as for the actual back wall here, we're going to repeat the exact same thing, a gap of 5, a second gap of 5, and then this time we're going to be doing a gap of 3 to align with our entrance pillar here. So we're just going to place that in like so, and then repeat another gap of 5 and another gap of 5. And yeah, now you guys probably get the idea at this point. We're just going to repeat the exact same thing on this wall and this section here over here. So yeah, I'm just going to do that real quick right now. And I'll also go ahead and just raise all of these pillars up to the ceiling as well while I'm at it. So yeah, give me a second and I'll get that all done right now. All right, and now with all of our pillars raised up, let's turn our attention back towards the entrance design here, and let's just go ahead and completely add in the entire section here for the entrance. So firstly, let's add in some stone brick stairs on this block right here, and then directly above that, let's replace this block here with some upside down stone stairs. Next, directly under the button here, let's place in some spruce stairs, and we're also going to do the same on the other side to the left of these stairs. And then in line with this stair block here, let's place in some more stairs like so. Whoopsie daisy, if I can actually place it. There we go. Now above this, let's place in some stripped spruce wood logs like so, and we're going to place some spruce signs on top of all of those as well. And now above this, we're going to be placing in some spruce stairs in all of the corners. Let's also add in some spruce trapdoors to fill in all of the gaps between those as well. And then we're going to place some oak leaves smack bang right in the middle there as well. And there we go. That's the entrance design pretty much completed. Now it's time to add in the pathway, which is a very simple checkered pattern of just stone and stone bricks. So all we need to do is just remove the areas where we're going to be placing the stone bricks, starting from this block right here. And we're just going to keep this 2 blocks wide and extend this all the way down to our ladder here, which we should probably actually add on real quick. Let's place our ladder in here. We'll extend this all the way up to the ceiling as well. And we're going to stop our checkered pattern 1 block away from the ladder here. And we may as well just fill all of these in with some stone bricks as well while we're at it. Now we're going to branch this pathway off to the left and to the right. So continuing the checkered pattern, let's just keep going all the way to the left side of the base here, just like so. And we're also going to extend this into this layer of the stone as well. So let's just remove those blocks and these blocks as well. And now I'm just going to go ahead and fill all of these in with some stone bricks and pretty much mirror this exact same thing on the other side as well. So yeah, give me a second and I'll get that done right now. Now with the pathway added in, let's add in our balcony here so that we can actually walk along the second floor. So let's just head directly to the left of the ladder here, and we're going to count 4 blocks up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to go up 1 more block, and then on the top half of this block, let's place in our first spruce slab like so. So yeah, just to simplify it, we pretty much have a height of 4.5 blocks here. Now we're going to extend this an additional 2 blocks out so that we're 2 blocks past the pillars here. And now let's actually surround the ladder here like so to create a little bit of a square. Now at this same height, let's go around to each of the pillars and add a stair block on like so, making sure to actually place it in properly, just like that. Now let's just fill in pretty much the rest of the entire area here with some more slabs. And so now this is how your balcony should be looking. Next up, we're going to be adding in some additional slabs pretty much in the middle of all of the pillars here and placing a lantern on top of those, or below those as well. So let's just go around to every section, even the ladder here, we're going to be adding in that same design. Now an additional thing in all of these sections is we're going to actually be extending these slabs down at 1 block in between all of the pillars here, except for the ladder. We're going to leave that as it is. And now the final decoration for the balcony here is just adding some spruce signs all the way across down to the end. If you like the look of this as it is, you can of course just leave this out and not bother with the signs, but I feel like it looks a little bit nicer adding the signs in. And there we go. There's our balcony now completed. Okay, now with all of our balcony done, let's once again turn our attention back to the ladder here and add in some spruce stairs on either side like so. And we're also going to place in some spruce trapdoors above those. Next, let's head up the ladder and pretty much repeat the same thing in the top corners this time. And now while we're up here, let's place in some stone bricks directly above the ladder here. And then to the left and right side of the ladder, we're going to be adding in this pattern here. It's not exactly a checkered pattern, but it's more like a, I don't know, you know, something pattern. It's kind of checkered, but it's like spaced apart, you know? So yeah, we're going to extend that all the way down to the bottom like so. And then let's also chuck in in a lantern 1 block away from the ladder here as well. And let's just do that in every single section in the middle area, like so, without falling off the balcony. Now, in every single section, let's add this design here. So we're going to be placing some stairs like so, with some trapdoors below and above. And then in this little section here, we're going to be placing in a stone brick block. And yeah, so let's just, of course, repeat this in every single section, just for the top rows. And now it's time to start adding in all of our sections, starting with the section to the left of the ladder here, which is going to be our mine entrance. So firstly, at the top here, let's add in this design like so, just some spruce trapdoors in the top areas, not below. Then we're going to remove this area here of stone, and then we're going to do it again. And then now that we are 2 blocks deep, we can start our staircase here. So just on these 2 blocks here, let's place in some stone stairs like so. Then up here, we're going to be replacing these stone blocks here with some slabs. And now let's excavate another layer here, and then another layer. And now we can also start going down with our mine shaft here, making sure to leave this side here as full blocks, as this is where we're going to be placing our rails on. Now, I mean, if you don't want to have rails at all, you don't have to add these in, but I kind of like the aesthetic. Not necessarily using it that much, but it just looks nice to me. So we're going to add our rail all the way to the end here, placing a powered rail, adding a stone button above that. And now as for this area here, now that we are 2 blocks in, we can start placing some stone stairs along the top, and we can also add in our stone stairs for our pathway blocks here as well. And yeah, now we're just going to be pretty much repeating this design until we reach, you know, as far down as we want to go. It's entirely up to you. I'm probably just going to leave it here for the sake of the video. Also, of course, I highly recommend adding in some powered rails along this. So all you have to do is just, of course, place in the powered rail and then come underneath it and add in a redstone torch like so. And now just for the finishing touches of our mine entrance, we're going to be adding in a checkered pattern of stone bricks on the sides here. Above the button on this side, let's place in a torch. We're also going to do the same on this side as well. And then at the very bottom here, let's place in a diamond ore block. I mean, you could make this iron ore or whatever ore you wanted to. You could, of course, just leave it out as well. You could even place a barrel there with the logs on top. It'll still look nice. And then we're going to place some more there as well. Once again, that is completely optional, as it does kind of block the entrance. So it's completely up to you. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the mine entrance. Next, heading to the left, once again, we're going to be adding in our storage area. This one is going to be nice and easy. So once again, stairs in the top corners, this time with some trapdoors on the top and below those as well. Then we're going to excavate 2 blocks deep into this. So just removing all of these blocks here in a square shape like so. Let's also just go ahead and replace all of these back blocks with stone, just so it looks nice. We don't really have to worry about the top ones because we're going to be removing these and replacing them with some stone slabs on the bottom half. This is so that we can actually open up the top chests. And yeah, now the last step is pretty much just filling up this entire area with a whole bunch of double chests. Now for this last row, I'll give you a bit of an epic gamer tip that I only really figured out recently, which is, yeah, we're going to be placing in our chests like so that they're all facing that way. And then you don't actually need to like remove part of the wall to add in these. All we have to do is just hold shift and right click on these chests, and that way it'll just, you know, make it into a double chest without having to be in the correct orientation. And yeah, there we go. Nice and easy. There is our storage wall done. For the next section, we're going to head back to the ladder and then to the right of it, of course. And we're going to be adding in our smelting area. So we're just going to be excavating 1 layer of stone blocks here. Once again, making sure all of these back blocks here are stone blocks. Firstly, let's add in a row of furnaces along the bottom, and then up the top here, we're going to place in 3 blast furnaces and 2 smokers. You can, of course, make those regular furnaces if you want to. It's up to you. Now, below these, let's add in some spruce stairs in the corners, and we're going to connect those up with some spruce trapdoors. Next, at the back wall here of stone, let's add in a little bit of a checkered pattern with some stone bricks like so. And now to finish it off, let's just add in a couple of details like an extinguished campfire. Beside that, a flower pot with an azalea inside. Then a couple of candles, and of course ignite them with a flint and steel. And then finally a large amethyst bud. And that's it for our smelting area. And now for the final section of the bottom floor, of course going to be our crafting area. Let's once again remove 1 layer of stone blocks here. Let's make sure these back blocks here are going to be our stone, and then we're going to be adding in the same checkered pattern of stone bricks back here as well. We don't need to worry about these blocks because they're going to be covered up by some exposed blocks anyway. Actually, this one is going to have an anvil on it, so let's make sure those are stone. Next, along the top here, let's add in a row of barrels. In the corners, our signature stair design with some trapdoors above and below those. Then at the very top in the middle here in this gap, we're going to place a grindstone, making sure to stand underneath like so that it's placed on the side. Just looks a little bit nicer than being placed like that. Now down at the bottom, let's place in our anvil, followed by our smithing table, crafting table, loom, and finally a stone cutter. Actually, we're going to have to replace this block here with stone as well. My bad. And now once once again, just a couple of details. This time a flower pot on top of our smithing table with a cornflower inside, and then on top of the loom, let's place a couple of candles and ignite them as well. And so that's it for the entire bottom row. Now it's of course time to head up the ladder and off to the left to add in our enchanting area. So for this section, we're going to have to excavate 3 blocks deep this time. Now with that area excavated, let's go ahead and place our enchanting table on this block right here. So just 1 block in from the balcony blocks here. Then let's replace these stone blocks with some purple wool. This is optional, of course. And we're also going to place some purple carpet on these blocks out here. Now we're going to be adding in some bookshelves. Firstly, starting off in the back wall here, let's just add some in like so. We're also going to be raising this up by 1 more layer. Then let's bring this towards us by 1 layer like so. And then we're going to have to add in 2 more bookshelves like so. And now that should get us to level 30. There we go. Now along the top here, directly behind our little curved things, let's place in a row of barrels like so. And then in this gap here, let's place in some spruce slabs on the top half of these blocks. And then directly underneath these barrels here on the sides, let's place in some spruce stairs. And now the final thing to do is just add in a couple of details like a large amethyst bud on this side and then a couple of purple candles on this side. And there we go. That's it for our enchanting area. Next up, it's time for the brewing area. For this one, let's excavate 1 block deep, just like so. Now on the bottom layer, let's add in 2 polished andesite blocks on the left and then 2 on the right. Then let's jump on top of it and place in some polished andesite stairs facing backwards like so. And let's chuck some water inside of that as well. Next, let's remove these 2 blocks. Well, they're not 2 blocks, but it's 2 wide. We're also going to extend this downwards like so. And on these blocks here, let's place in some soul sand and then some nether warts on top of those. And then for the top area here, let's add in some stone stairs, making sure to curve them around like this so that it looks extra nice. Now let's replace these andesite blocks with some stone blocks and actually grab some stone bricks because we're going to be adding in a little bit of a checkered pattern like this all the way around. And I just realized that this actually makes this block stone bricks and this one not. So let's actually replace that with some stone bricks, just, you know, for that little bit of extra detail there. Next, let's chuck some brewing stands on top of our polished andesite blocks here. And then all the way at the top in this blank spot, let's add in, of course, a couple of barrels, some stairs in the corners with some spruce trapdoors on the top areas. And there we go. That's it for our brewing area. And I almost forgot, well, not almost, I mean, I completely forgot. We also need to add in a bunch of spruce signs in front of all of these polished andesite blocks here. It just adds a little bit of extra detail and looks pretty nice, in my opinion. For the next area, we're going to head back over to the ladder and then 1 section to the right. And in here, we're going to be adding in our bedroom. So for this one, we need to excavate 2 layers of the stone here, just like that. Then we're going to add in our bed right here, and then let's surround it with some carpet. To the left and right side of the bed, let's add in some barrels as well. Then on the corners, to the left and right of these barrels, let's add in some stripped spruce wood pillars like so, that go all the way up to the top. And then in front of all of those, let's add in a whole bunch of barrels. Then let's add in this checkered pattern with some stone bricks at the back here. And then finally, we're going to add in our signature leaf design with some leaves across here, a spruce slab at the bottom in the middle with some spruce trapdoors beside those. And then we're going to do the same thing on the top as well. If I can place it. There we go. And that's it for our bedroom. And now moving on to the final section for the back wall here, we're going to be adding in our aquarium, of course. So for this one, we need to excavate 4 blocks deep. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's just quickly go ahead and remove all of these. Now with all of that done, let's go ahead and replace some of the blocks on the ground with some sand. So we're going to do a whole strip here, another strip behind this. Then we're going to add some sand up here and bring it over this way. And then we're going to replace these ground blocks here with some more sand. Next, let's add in some sea lanterns. Firstly, in the back, right in the middle right here. Then we're going to add another one off to the left side and then on the right side as well. And then we're going to add a nice checkered pattern of stone bricks around this. We're going to continue this on the right wall as well. Just add this in everywhere and then pretty much repeat this exact same thing on the other side, of course. Oops, there we go. Now to make this next part a little bit easier, what we might go ahead and do is just make a little bit of a staircase that leads over to the ceiling here. And let's just remove part of the ceiling. Now this will be a lot easier if you have like a turtle shell helmet or something like that, because we're going to be in the water for a little while. But there we go. Just add like a little staircase in over here to make this next part a little bit easier. And so next, let's add in a big glass wall in line with the very first layer of sand that we added in here. And we're of course going to extend this all the way up to the ceiling. Let's remove a little bit more stone. Probably didn't have to do all of it, but I mean, oh well. And now let's just go ahead and fill in everything here with some water buckets. And there we go. There's our aquarium filled up. And now it's time to add in all of our details. So I've just got like a whole bunch of random coral blocks. Now I just noticed that like the water's being weird here. So what you might have to do to fix this is add in some stone blocks here and then fill in these water buckets so that your water isn't like acting weird. You know what I'm trying to say? And yeah, so carrying on, let's just add in a whole bunch of random corals and seagrass. Let's maybe bone meal this one. Let's add in some kelp as well in the middle here. Let's extend this all the way up. Then over here, let's maybe add in a horn coral and then maybe like a fire coral fan. Let's add some more seagrass down here and then just a couple more random coral blocks like so. And now with our aquarium pretty much done here, let's just go ahead and add in a bunch of random tropical fish. Maybe like 5 or so, that should be good. And then let's just quickly fill in the rest of the roof here. Also make sure to fill in those blocks as well, or you'll have a weird gap above your little viewing window. Then we can just seal off this staircase here, and yeah, there we go. We're pretty much completely done, except there is some more water blocks that I missed. So yeah, let's go back and quickly fix that up. Okay, so heading in here, it was those two. There we go. And there we go. Now it is all done. So onto the next part of the base. Let's add in the farm designs on the left and right side. So to line this up properly, we're going to head to this corner of our pathway here, and we're going to count 2 blocks in. So 1, 2, and then on the next diagonal block in, let's add in our first log here. Then let's add in 5 stair blocks to the left of this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then let's place in our next spruce log block. Then connected up to this spruce block here, we're going to place in 3 stairs. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to leave a gap of 2, and then place in another 3 stairs, and then finally another spruce log here. And then for this corner, we're pretty much just going to repeat the exact same thing that we did. So 5 stairs, then 3, gap of 2, and then another 3. Then in this gap, let's add in a barrel at the back and a composter in the front, and just repeat this on the other side, of course. Then let's add in 2 water buckets in the middle here on these 2 middle blocks in line with our barrel and composter. And then we're just going to add in a bunch of farmland blocks in pretty much the rest of the area here. I'm just placing in farmland because I can, and for the sake of the speed and efficiency of the video, you'll of course have to place dirt and till it. Also, let's add in some lanterns here in every corner so that we can actually plant our crops. But before we place the crops, let's add in 2 spruce slabs on the top half of the water blocks here, and then on top of those, let's add in 2 barrels like so. And then it's time to plant in your crop of choice. I'm going to go with some carrot, and there we go. There's the left side farm done. Now I'm going to pretty much repeat this exact same thing and just mirror it on this side, and instead of carrots, we'll be adding in some wheat instead. So yeah, I'm just going to do that real quick right now. Now with our farms added in, it's time to add in our sugarcane farm. And so this is going to be added to the right of our door here, or behind our first farm that we added in. And so what we're going to be doing first is removing this layer of stone blocks here. As you can see, this is going to uncover a bit of the redstone, but don't worry about it. It's all good. I mean, if it uncovers part of your base as well, you might need to fix that up. There we go. That's fine. Next, on the bottom row here, let's just add in a whole row of stone stairs like so. And then in front of all of these stairs, let's add in a bunch of our dirt blocks. Now with that done, let's waterlog every single one of these stair blocks here so that we can actually place some sugarcane on these dirt blocks here. But before we do that, let's actually replace this block here with some more stone, covering up our redstone and everything, and there we go. And so that allows us to, of course, add in some sugarcane blocks here. And I almost forgot, we're going to cover up all of these dirt blocks here with some spruce trapdoors all the way down to the end, of course. There we go. Now, just to get the alignment right, I'm going to add in another 2 sugarcane on top of this one to make a fully grown one. And with this, we're going to leave a half block gap above this and place in a spruce slab. And then we're going to place another one on top of that. Then to the left of this topmost spruce slab, let's add another one. And then we're going to go up again. And then for the next one, we're going to go back down. And then we're going to go up and then back down. And yeah, you kind of get the point. It's like this nice little pattern of spruce slabs all the way down to the end like so. Next, let's add in some lanterns. Firstly on the left side, then on the right side, and then right in the middle as well. Then all the way up the top here, we're going to go 1 block down from the ceiling and add in a big giant row of leaves. In the middle, let's add in some slabs, and then on every single other block above and below the leaves, let's add in some spruce trapdoors. And there we go. While we're up here as well, let's add in a bunch of our lanterns that we need to add in. So for this, we're going to align ourselves up with the lanterns we've already added on the top floor here, and we're going to just, yeah, align ourselves up, and we're going to place the lantern 1 block away from the leaves here, just like so, and then we're going to place another lantern in between these two, right in the middle of the base. We can use our wall here, like this is the middle, and then we're going to, yeah, place that lantern on there. And then we're going to repeat this with every single lantern that we've added in. So for the next one, we're going to just align that lantern and place that one in, and then do the same for that one. And yeah, you guys kind of get the idea here. We're just, yeah, filling in the ceiling with some lanterns. And there we go. That's how your ceiling should now look with all of your lanterns added in. And with that, we are also done with this right side here. It'll look a lot nicer once all the sugarcane actually grows in. But yeah, now we can head over to the left side. And so on this side here, we're going to be adding in our melon and pumpkin farm. And firstly, starting off, let's just go ahead and remove the first layer of stone here from the entire wall. Now with all of that done, let's head to the very right here and remove an extra layer, just 1 layer here, and we're going to stop once we reach 2 blocks from the ceiling here. And in this gap, let's go ahead and add our ladder in. Next, let's head back over to our ladder here and remove these 2 blocks to the left of it. On the bottom one, let's place in some stone stairs in this orientation. We might have to actually remove this stone block here so that we can actually place them like that. And then on top of that, let's place in a lantern like so. Then we're going to head all the way down to the left side, and 1 block away from the very left, let's do the same thing. Remove these 2 blocks. This time we can place the stairs like this. It doesn't really matter that much, and place another lantern on. And then in the middle of these 2, let's do the same thing once again. Place a lantern on top of that. Then let's go ahead and add in a bunch of dirt and till that into farmland. Once again, I'm just placing farmland because I can. And actually, yeah, before you till it, make sure you add in some water buckets on all of our stairs like so. And then, yeah, just fill in the rest of the area here. Now, as for the bottom, let's add in a whole bunch of melon seeds all along the back row here so that our melons will be growing outwards and looking nice and vibrant. And then we're going to cover up all of these ugly dirt blocks here with some spruce trapdoors all the way down to the end. And we're also going to do it on these sides here too. Then above our lanterns here, we're going to be placing in some stone stairs. We're going to place these in all the way down to the left. And then in front and above these, let's add in a row of spruce stairs this time. All the way down to the end here and past the ladder like so. Then on this very far right side here, let's add in some slabs above the stairs and then add in a spruce trapdoor here. And then let's also add in a whole bunch of dirt blocks that are going to extend on top of these stairs all the way down to the left side. And then let's just add in a bunch more spruce trapdoors to cover all of those up like so. Now we can use our ladder to head up to the very top. Up here, let's extend our pathway out so we can actually get up here. And then up here, let's just place in a bunch more of our dirt blocks. Once again, I'm placing farmland because I can. And then let's do the same thing as below. 1 block away from the left here, let's remove this block and this block. Add in some stairs like so, and then we can add our lantern on and also waterlog those stairs. We'll of course need to patch up this freaking giant gaping hole at the back here. And I need to go back and fix up the outside because it looks absolutely whack. And then we can just cover up this hole as well. Then we're going to do the same thing on the very far right side, right next to the ladder. We're going to have to remove this stone block here so we can place our stairs like so. Replace those stone blocks and then also replace this one with a stone block and add in our lantern on top of that. And also we can put our water in here too. And then finally in the middle here, let's do the same thing once again. Stone stairs, waterlog that, add a lantern on top, and then cover up the back if you have a giant gaping hole and like in my base. Then for this top row, let's add in a whole row of pumpkins like so. In this gap above them here, let's add in a row of upside down stone stairs all the way down to the end here. Then above and in front of these, once again, let's add in some more spruce stairs. And then on top of all of these, we're going to add in a row of spruce slabs all the way down to the end. And there we go. We're now done with all of our farms. And now it's time to fill in the left and right side walls with just a bunch of leaves and stuff. So yeah, let's get started with that right now. Okay, so for this right side wall here, let's first head up to the very top right corner and add in a little bit of a shelf design like so. This is going to support a whole bunch of our leaves. Let's add one off to the left here, and we're going to add one hanging down. And then in this very right corner, let's add in 3 glowberries. We're going to shear the end here so it doesn't grow any further, and then add some bone meal on that just to brighten up the wall a little bit. Then below this here, let's add in some vines like so. I'm also going to be adding in some string to stop these vines from growing any further so we don't have to shear them. But feel free to, you know, just not do that if you can't be bothered. It's all right. You can always just trim the vines later. Then we're going to head up here and add in some more vines like so. Also, while I'm building this, feel free to, you know, not follow this exactly. You can just place them randomly. I'm just adding them in specific areas because I like the way that it looked when I originally built this. Then we're going to head over to this block here, add in another little 2 wide shelf, place 2 leaves on top of that, and then to the right, we're going to place 2 leaves down and then 1 leaf here as well. We're actually going to make this slab a full block and place some more glowberries on that. That being 3 in total. We're going to shear the end and bone meal it as well. And then we're going to place a whole bunch of vines in the top corner here like so. I'm also going to use some string to stop that from growing once again. Now directly below this shelf here, let's place in a single slab. We're going to place a single oak leaf on top of that, and then to the right of that as well, and then a vine above that too. Then off to the right here, we're going to go in line with this set of glowberries here. We're going to count 3 blocks across. 1, 2, 3. On this block here, let's place in a full block. Then to the right, a single slab. On top of this, let's place 2 oak leaves and then another 2 down here. And we're also going to add in 2 glowberries here, shear the end, add some bone meal. Then we're going to add in a little like lightning bolt shape of vines here and place in once again some more string to stop those from growing. Also, what I feel could look nice is adding in just a couple of vines on the left here. I feel like it definitely needs that. And then yeah, to finish off our feature wall, let's add in some more vines here, stop those ones from growing, and then add in another 2 in the bottom right corner there. And yeah, there we go. We're now fully done with this feature wall here. And now we're going to head over to the other side. And so for this one, once again, starting off at the very top here, we're going to place in a slab on this block here and on this block here to make it 2 blocks wide. Let's add in some leaves on top of those, and then to the left, and then some more hanging down in front. Then all the way off to the left on this corner here, so 1 block in from the very corner, let's place in 2 leaves with 2 spruce slabs below those, making this one a full block. We're going to place some leaves in front of that block and then off to the right as well here. Then we're going to add in 3 glowberries, shear the end and bone meal that of course. Then we're going to add some vines here and also over here and add in some string to stop those growing once again. To the right of these vines here, let's place in another 2 oak leaves with some slabs below those, making this one a full block with a single glowberry underneath that one as well. Then diagonally down and to the right of this glowberry, let's place in another leaf with another spruce slab below that, and then some more vines around it like so with some more string. Then for our final one here, we're gonna head over to this side, place in some slabs like so. Then we're gonna add a leaf block here on top of this, on the left side and in front. And then we're gonna add 2 glowberries below this, shear it and also bone meal it. Then let's add in some vines to the left of that, up here as well, and then also up yonder. And then we're gonna place some string below these 2. And then we're just gonna add in a whole bunch more vines up here. And then for the final set of vines, we're just gonna add in some here as well with some string once again. And also once again, I feel like this could benefit from just a couple more vines. Let's add in some there and then off in the left corner as well. And maybe a couple in the bottom right too, why not? Let's actually make that like an L shape, there we go. That looks pretty nice. And now, with that wall done, we are now fully completed with the entire base. Be sure to let me know in the comments what you thought of this base and what one I should do next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.